Hello, hey, what's going on, everybody? Matt Storm here. The chapter that I chose to review is Chapter 7, Tools for Speaking in Tongues. The basic concept of this chapter was to review a few different apps that people can use to incorporate different language translations or translation apps, or even apps where people can have a virtual conversation with one another face-to-face via a device or computer phone. The coolest part of this chapter is it reviews an old app that I've liked for a long time, where you can have a virtual tour, take a virtual tour of a different city or any geographical location on basically anywhere in the world. I've always liked Google Earth. It's a great app where you can use for Androids or iPhones, iPads, or Macs. You can virtually look at any place geographically, for the most part, anywhere around the world. Once you get into the app, it's pretty basic, just like any other app that you'd use, or just like any other search engine that you've used before in any internet browser. Up at the top here, you would put where you want to look up anywhere in the world, and I chose to look up Omaha, Nebraska, where I'm from and where I teach at. Once you've hit the search engine and searched in where you want to look up, obviously Omaha is where I wanted to look up, and it directly put me right on top of the city on the Google map. Once I zoomed into Omaha, I went ahead and zoomed into the corner of 20th Street and Dodge Street, where Omaha Central High School is. Pretty historic landmark in Omaha. We call this here Capitol Hill. Biggest high school in the state of Nebraska. Over here is the football field, and this happens to be Interstate 80, right up here in the corner. So pretty cool app. You can virtually see in three-dimensional, from satellite view, what areas of the town looks like. So if you were to happen to wanting to going overseas and looking at something, you can kind of get a geographical location on where you're going, what streets you're going to be on, and some places you can see via satellite. The next app I'm going to discuss is an app that can be used on iPads, iPods, iPhones, as well as Android apps, which is Skype, which in my opinion took over for an early 2000s device that became very popular, known as the webcam. Skype is a device where you can virtually look at each other while you're speaking one-on-one. You guys can hold a conversation, or old school style, you can use this as like a telephone. Once you're in the app, you notice that down here at the bottom, you'll have a contacts list. You can use a cell phone. You'll have your information, which would right here would be my information. You could update with a picture. You have your settings. You have your own account. It's a pretty cool app. We use it a lot in a football staff here at Central High School, where we, instead of meeting physically in the mornings on the weekends, we can meet via Skype, which actually benefits lots of us in many different ways. The next app I'm going to review is for iPhones and iPads and Mac devices only, which is FaceTime, which in the long run is pretty much the same exact concept as Skype. It's an app where you can face-to-face contact each other, or just like before, like we discussed with Skype, you can have it based off of a phone device, like when you're talking on your telephone. Obviously, from this picture, you can tell, over here I'm being kind of goofy, but you can tell right here is some of the recent conversations I've had. It's a pretty cool app. I use it a lot. You can have video chats or audio chats like it's a telephone, so I understand it kind of takes the concept away from having the phone. But the cool part is that you can have a video conversation with one another and talk about whatever it is you would like to talk about. The next app I'm going to discuss is iTranslate. Pretty cool app used in a lot of foreign language classes. Lots of teachers that teach foreign language use it, or lots of students that use it as well. Basically, on the left-hand side, I picked a language that I'd like to translate to, which is Czech. And all I wrote was, my name is Matthew Storm. I'm a physical education teacher in Omaha, Nebraska. And then over here, it translated that to that side. Pretty cool little app. I enjoyed playing around with this. I've never personally had to use it, but I know that some of the foreign language teachers in my school use it. Just like iTranslate, another app that's just for Android, one of the better Android apps is Google Translate. It's pretty easy and simple. It's a go-to app, and you can also use it off of your Android Wear Watch, which is a cool device, kind of like the Apple Watch. Pretty cool app. Never really had to use it, but also, like I said, for the Android and for foreign language classes. Spellboard is an app discussed in Chapter 7 that is a tool for the acquisition and reinforcement of spelling. In my opinion, the most important function of this app is the ability of the chosen word to be examined in a phrase and used so that the student better understands the word. Another spec of the app that I think is pretty cool is the ability to create word searches. Word searches are useful sources for kids to use to enhance their ability to spell a word or find a word with the correct spelling. Another portion of the app that is resourceful is the quiz portion. In the example here shown, it's a fill-in-the-blank app. The quiz gives you a phrase with the word that is missing for the example, and if the word is misspelled, the computer shows you the correct spelling of the word. A similar app that is a Droid app that's out there on Google Play is a Spelling Bee. This app, like Spellboard, is designed to help young students with spelling. Something that's different about this app that's not like Spellboard is the ability to use the selected words in a clear audio clip. Comic Life is an app that is talked about in Chapter 7 that is a straightforward and powerful app with the ability to develop single or multiple comics. There are different types of layouts offered, from 60s style comics all the way to present day style comics. You also possess the ability to create Euro comics or even graphic novels. The Comic Life app can be shared via email as images or even PDF files, as well as through social media networks or printed via connected printers. This is an example of a comic created about the Caribbean island. There are a few different pics here being used that describe the Caribbean island in a colorful way, making it a little bit more different than a typical PowerPoint project. A Droid app that is similar to the Comic Life app is Comic Strip. With Comic Strip, you can make compelling comic strips or even storyboards instantly, whether it's on your phone, and you can also use your Android tablet. Comic Strip gives you the opportunities to add captions, titles, speech bubbles, and apply different images or sound effects to each frame to create a comic book feel. This is very similar to the Comic Life app used by the iPad, iPhone, and Mac device. I'd like to thank everybody for viewing my presentation on Chapter 7, Tools for Speaking in Tongues, and I hope you enjoyed and maybe learned a thing or two.